Hey everyone, this is Randy from BibleBuyingGuide.com. Today I'm taking a look at the Thomas Nelson Maclaren series in KJV and NKJV in thumb index. This is available in the brown genuine leather. I've heard that is cowhide, actually. If that is the case, then that is even more impressive because cowhide is a very good leather. Now, the leather on these are stiffer than a normal cowhide. And first thing I noticed between these two, the KJV and the NKJV, is the leather is different. They actually do have a different grain. On the original edition of the New King James, it matched the King James. And this one matches the regular King James as well. But these are different. Everything else about these are the same as the regular Maclaren series. Just a quick overview. I've already reviewed these in detail, but just a quick overview is that they have the genuine leather cover in brown with a brown liner paste down. Looks like it has reinforced tape. Don't know that for a fact, but it does look to be reinforced. And then there is our thumb index. I'll get to that in a minute. But then the Maclaren, we have, it's just a reference edition with maps. That's basically it. 36 GSM paper, made in China. And then 10.5 point font, which is very dark, has lots of space between the lines, about 9 words per line, between 8 and 10, depending on where you are in the scriptures. And then the references in the footer, all of the highlights, the verse numbers, section headings, chapter numbers, book names, and the reference number in the footers are in blue. 3 ribbons. They're a little bit short, but they're long enough to pull to the corner to use. No problem at all. Then we have gold gilt edges. This is a black letter edition, verse by verse for both, but this is just standard verse by verse for the KJV. Italics for supplied words. No self-pronouncing marks in the text, but it does have the keys to the footnotes and the references. Now, the footnotes include a glossary on the page. So all words that have changed in meaning, that we don't even realize have changed in meaning, words that we don't know because they're out of use, they're all defined in the footer. They're all blended. It's a little bit difficult to find quick, but it still works. And then in the very back, we have maps. It's the standard Zondervan maps that Thomas Nelson uses. And then that's it. This is the one that I've been using for preaching for the past 3 weeks. And then we have the New King James, which is exactly the same with the exception of poetry. It has the poetic setting, which I really want them to use for the King James because that is my favorite way to do poetry is this right here. I'm not 100% convinced that I like the capital letters for the next line in the poetic setting when it continues the sentence, but I'll take it. Also black letter. All right, so here we are on Ezra. I'm looking for Ezra. And the thumb indexes have 4, typically. They have 4 books per index. My personal favorite is to do 1. 2 or 3 is a little easier than 4, but 4 is better than not having it at all. So to find Ezra, since it's the last one, I actually go to this one and then turn back. I find that to be easier. And I wanted to show you Ezra because I wanted to show you that it indents letters, which I prefer. So if you're going to go to, say, Romans, now this one is on 3. This one does have 3. Some of the larger books do have 3. So you can turn there quick, but then you have to turn through and find. So you can get in the ballpark. It does help. I've preached from this one for 3 weeks now, and more often than not, I find the index is helpful. So yesterday I mentioned, I think I went to Micah or one of those, NAM, and it normally would take a few minutes to find, but this makes it easy. Could be a little easier if it had 1. I'll show you an example. One of my favorite Bibles of all time is the Cambridge Concord, and it has 1 for most books. There are a few that have more. Some really small ones have more. But the big books have 1, and those are easy. John, Acts, Romans. That's easy. I like that. That's my favorite. but this is still useful, still helpful. I like the thumb index enough that I use this instead of the regular edition. I'll show you that. Here's the regular edition KJV, and as we'll see, the leather on these are the same. The only difference is the thumb index. So there it is, with and without thumb index. I'll show you them opened. Get an idea of how they look and compare. So looking for books quick, the thumb index is a lot easier. And here is the New King James regular edition. And I wanted to show you that one because I wanted to show you the difference in leather. Now, I think it's a stamped green, but it does look different from one Bible to another. So maybe it's just the way that they've processed the leather. But there is a difference in the grain. This one is rougher. This one is smoother. I prefer the rougher. I like that rough look. So here is the New King James. And the tabs between the King James and the New King James are the same. No difference between them. So here's how these compare, how they look together. And then when you have it open on that side, you got the tabs. There's how they look. So quick look at the Maclaren series with thumb index, and I highly recommend these. I like the Maclaren series. It's the one that I preach from. It's not a Bible that I would carry because I carry small Bibles. I don't carry large Bibles. But for preaching, this is excellent. So if you want to see more detail about the Maclaren series, I'll post a link in the notes to the Maclaren review. I'll also post links to these reviews. These will be in the same review, and they will just be mostly pictures to show you what they look like at BibleBuyingGuide.com. And I'll also place links where you can make a purchase if you're interested. Thomas Nelson did supply these in exchange for an honest review. And my honest review is I would prefer to have a few more tabs for the larger books, but I would rather have this than not have it at all for preaching. Thanks for watching.